We're at Charles Krug Winery, and of course this is the first winery in Napa Valley, the oldest winery. And we're here with Jim Morris, who is the VP of Guest Relations, and he's giving us a tour of the grounds. And right now, where are we, Jim?
So we are in the two of the three homes of the Mondavi compound here.
Okay.
So this is actually the original home that Cesare and Rosa first moved into when they purchased this land in 1943. So
wow.
A little brief history on Cesare and Rosa. They were actually Ellis Island immigrants that they came across. They originally settled in Virginia, Minnesota, where they established essentially a boarding house.
Oh wow.
And then a grocer, and then eventually, and I'm paraphrasing a couple of the key points, but
sure.
But eventually came to California looking for more sources for fresh produce and fruit.
Oh really? Wow.
And actually ended up in Lodi, California. So,
oh.
So they sold their grocery business, came to California, continued to supply that grocery business with fresh fruit that he was getting from the valley.
Oh wow.
And then actually, and this is another one of those, is it a tale or not? A friend of theirs, Ernest Gallo, suggested that they should come up to St. Helena where they were growing grapes, and there was great sources of fresh produce here. So they came up here and they actually established a small little brand called Sunny St. Helena, which is an iconic old brand. That was their first foray into the wine side of things. This property became available in 1943, and so they purchased the last, or the 150-acre parcel that we're still on for about $75,000.
Wow. Wow.
So they did okay. I think we mentioned that
yeah,
earlier.
yeah, I think.
But the land itself, so the homes actually existed here. They were actually built by a gentleman named Willis Polk.
Okay.
So Willis Polk was actually credited for rebuilding most of San Francisco, all of the government buildings.
Polk Street.
Polk Street.
Yeah.
There's actually a Polk Museum in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So these homes are part of the display there.
Okay.
But these homes were built by Willis Polk.
Okay. All right. Well,
And they really are, beautiful. They retained their charm, their 1907 charm.
right.
And so when Cesare and Rosa first moved in, and then their sons Peter and Robert Mondavi, this was the home of Robert Mondavi until the family split, and then Peter Sr. moved into this house after his parents passed. Peter Jr. moved in there. Mark Mondavi moved into the third place. So this has always just been Mondavi family homes.
Right.
Even during the fires last year, the entire Mondavi family was evacuated to these homes. So,
Oh wow.
so they're still to this day. They're these treasured, little things that we rarely use. The Peter Senior house is only used for family meetings and board meetings. And
Sure.
this is an occasional guest house for VIPs, and
Right.
and then Gigi Mondavi still lives on the other side.
Okay.
But it's still, being part of the family-owned side of the business. It's an important part of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because you don't think of the Mondavis that actually have living on the property. And here they lived on the property. The kids grew up here and played here and everything. And so, I mean, their whole lives were right here on this estate.
There's a cool story we'll tell on another part of the journey here that involves the building across the street, the culinary.
Okay. And Jim, what are we drinking right now? You just poured.
This is my favorite of all the single vineyard Cabernets. So Mondavi family owns 9 vineyards throughout California, throughout Napa Valley. Approximately 845 acres, of which 600 plus are currently planted. We're constantly replanting and moving in and out of production, different vineyards. But so we're one of the largest landowners. Most of our wines are still estate wines. So we're still farmers.
Right. Right.
So it's an important part of the side of our business.
Sure. Sure.
So what we're enjoying here is our Cold Springs Cabernet. So it's Howell Mountain fruit. So Howell Mountain is where many of the great cult producers are sourcing their fruit from. Howell Mountain is about 5 miles to the east of us. And what makes it a really special part is that, first of all, the soils, we call them nutrient deficient soils. That they're very austere soils that don't have a lot of nutrition for the vines, the clusters are smaller, the berries are smaller, but the flavors are off the charts beautiful.
Right.
And so by having that much pressure put on these little tiny berries, the flavors are concentrated and magnificent. So Howell Mountain is one of those truly chosen places. This is a western facing vineyard, so it gets the late afternoon sun, so that you get richer, fuller
Yeah.
development of the grapes. So
Well, the color here is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you just look at that dark color in the glass, and you know, just take a look at that. Charles Krug, and this is, you said estate grapes, right?
yeah,
so
so
these are grown right here.
This is part of Mark Mondavi lives across the street from this particular vineyard. So it's I believe it's approximately 45 acres, 30 planted. He made it through the fires last year just fine.
Okay,
So,
great.
surrounded by fire, but
Yeah.
that's a whole different story. But anyway, the Howell Mountain is just one of our prized
Right. Yeah.
prized vineyards. So
Yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon and estate grown. You can't get better than that. And it's right here at Charles Krug, the oldest winery in Napa Valley. And come and check it out. Rex on the Road, and we'll be right back right after this.